sort of core, I guess. We provide that opportunity all on the same season, and yeah, you get to work within sort of after the first month of your training and certification. I guess, yeah, I'll let Toby speak. He's obviously here as the guest speaker today, so I might just give him a quick chance to introduce himself a little bit outside of what I've indicated there, and yeah, we'll jump straight into things.
Right. Can you see me right now, Ash?
Yep, perfectly fine. Yep, no worries.
Right. So thanks, Ash. Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name's Toby Arnott. As Ash said, I've got the sometimes good, sometimes bad responsibility of looking after the 3 snow sports schools that NZSki operates, which is currently Peak, Mount Hutt and Remarkables. Pretty, big scale. We got 400 staff between our 3 mountains, sorry. And we have about a 78% return rate. So each year, and it's what we're currently doing at the moment, we're hiring around 100 staff, which is a pretty massive task by itself. Means we've got to interview around 150 people via Skype. So that's, yeah, it's pretty big scale. And then, obviously we're gearing up for winter coming up very shortly. We are really interested in you guys and the internships that we provide with EA. You guys you can come in, you can get some experience, you can get qualifications, which makes you very hireable. They're an extremely competitive industry these days, with courses running around the world. So there are a lot of instructors getting qualified each year, and a lot of them don't have experience. So it's very difficult to get a job. You kind of have to have both these days, which is a bit of experience and qualifications. If you don't have those two, it's very hard to get to the front of the queue. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Excellent.
I guess one thing, just as a bit of a question here, Toby, I guess outside of doing an internship, what would you look for with people applying to the resort, in terms of maybe qualities, in addition to, I guess, what you just stated there?
Yeah, so it's a tough one, it's not really a tough one, it's pretty simple. We're not really that concerned about, a big part of it is, yep, you can ski and ride and you can, you can show us what you got on snow. That's fantastic. But our customers are, they are interested in, how passionate you are for the snow and how passionate you are to share, your lifestyle, which is an amazing lifestyle, with our guests. So for us, it's more about attitude and passion, and that's the number one quality that we're looking in people.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess in terms of when the either interns or instructors are arriving into resort, what are they sort of, what should they expect really, I guess, in terms of their preparation and what obviously you're a Queenstown local like myself, so you've obviously got a bit of an insight there. What would you sort of say in terms of what people should expect?
You expect to have an amazing experience for a start. If you're coming to Queenstown or to Methven, they're pretty amazing places. They're probably quite different to most of the places where people are, living. So yeah, prepare to have an amazing experience, be blown away, but you got to work bloody hard as well. There's probably a bit of a perception, yeah, we'll go on a bit of a ski holiday, we might get a qualification and be a ski instructor, or a snowboard instructor, but that's one part of it. But you got to work bloody hard to get your qualifications. And there's the skiing part, but there's also the theory behind it. So it's the manuals. You've got to learn that stuff. It becomes like your diary, like your Bible, and it's not all glitz and glamour, and there's quite a lot of hard work there as well. But the people you're going to meet on these courses, that working in the snow sports schools, some of these guys have been with us for 25, 30 plus years, so they're industry veterans, and they do it because they love it. They've got an extreme amount of passion for the sport, and a lot of knowledge as well. So it's a massive opportunity there to get into a resort, get into a snow sports school, sort of download as much from those guys as you can.
Talk about what you feel. Would it be recommended to take the level 2 exam while in New Zealand? The process, and is there a good reason to do it?
Can you hear me right there, Ash? I think I'm dropping out a bit there.
No, you're all good. You did freeze up, but I can hear you okay.
Yeah, so absolutely go for the level 2 if you can. I mean, your trainers throughout the course and at your exam will give you some pretty honest feedback, whether you're ready or not. Kiwis are really good at that. We're quite blunt. But if you can, and definitely get it under your belt. Level 1's great with some experience, but level 2's even better with some experience. So to increase your opportunities to get a job elsewhere, overseas or returning back to New Zealand, and level 2 is in a lot of places the minimum that we look for these days. Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. And I guess in terms of a process, just to sort of clarify quite clear as to what parts you're doing particularly well at, and what areas may need to be developed further. And that's often where I guess the process for whether you should go for level 2, if it's a smart idea to do it in the same season, if it might be best to sort of hold off, or maybe just put the training towards it, and maybe it's something that you view another time, another season. So the next question is, how does the guaranteed job offer work? So I guess what I'll do is just explain how that does work in terms of your participation in an internship. Obviously, with the likes of a company like NZSki, we will put in place the training for level 1. You have to train quite hard towards the level 1 and complete the level 1 qualification in the first month. It's quite an intensive period. You're going to be training hard. You're going to need to be sleeping lots. So obviously somewhere like Queenstown, it's pretty lively happening town, but you sort of also do need to ensure that you're obviously presenting yourself well to this man here. At the end of the day, NZSki, they do have high standards, and our guarantee is really it's that there is an allocated spot. However, it does need you to fulfill certain requirements, and what that basically means is you're having to participate in the program not just as a trainee looking to get the skills, but also as someone that needs to present themselves very well to the school. So if you are someone that was, not saying this specifically to you, but if you were to be turning up consistently late, you had a bad attitude, you just certainly weren't doing the right kind of things by the school standards, then they'll be probably most likely going to bring that up to you and raise it directly. So it's just something, I guess, going with that right mindset is crucial, knowing about NZSki and what their standards are, and successfully passing level 1. That's the requirements for you to get the job. I guess Toby might have some additional points he may want to mention there, or hopefully that's, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty good, Ash, and I could probably explain a bit of the why. We get sort of, for that 100 jobs that I spoke about earlier, we get over 400 applications. So, luxury of just taking the best. Everyone wants to come to New Zealand and Queenstown and Methven. So essentially, when we're recruiting, we start at the top, the highest qualification, the most experience, and work our way down. So we want to be confident with you guys, and we're always watching that, that when we put you in front of a group, in front of a group of paying customers, that you're going to do a really good job. Making sure our guests have fun, making all that sort of stuff, and they're learning something, learning how to ski and ride. So that's really important to us. And we're also, like Ash said, we're looking to see that you're going to be a great employee as well. So that's punctuality, turning up on time, being a professional, all that sort of stuff's really important to us. So that's the sort of qualities that we're looking for in you guys while you're going through the training and through the exam. of course.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it is an allocated working position that's set aside for this purpose, a set number, and yeah, it's really just fulfilling those requirements and obviously presenting yourself well. I'll just sort of jump into the next question, and just in regards to qualifications obtained in New Zealand, will they be equivalent to those in Europe? So I may continue my, I'm assuming you mean instructing there, constructing career in December onwards. So I guess it's just in terms of the relevancy of the certification there. Would you have any thoughts there on that, Toby?
Yeah, well, I mean, it gets a little bit confusing, but there's an organisation called the ISIA, International Snow Sports Instructors Association, and there's I forget how many countries, 20 or 25 member countries around the world, and they're all a member of the ISIA, which means that if you are a member, which New Zealand is, the NZSki, for example, if you go to BASI, the British system, our qualifications or our level 2 will be equivalent to their level 2. And that changes depending on where you're going. So, Canada, America, Japan, etc., all have slightly different systems. So, but it do fit into different systems. In terms of countries to teach, it can be a little bit difficult to get into places like France and Austria around there, unless you have their qualifications or, a way to get in there. So it's not impossible, but it can be quite difficult. It's much easier through, America, Canada, Japan, those sort of places.
And typically level 2 is sort of it's kind of, for most major employers, I would say, it is the level that they are looking at as a minimum standard. You may or may not agree with me there on that, too. That's from what I understand of each resort. It obviously can differ in certain circumstances. Maybe smaller resorts may be okay with someone level 1 qualified, but just due to the fact that there are lots of applicants for these kind of positions, often it's level 2 that's kind of the minimum entry level, and often experience as well, like you said.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we value, there's a lot of people out there these days with level 2, so we value, experience as a big part of it.
In here from Larry, would I be working 40 hours per week? How much can I expect to make hourly as a level 1, 2 instructor? So are you still with me there, Toby?
Yeah, yep. Can you hear me?
Good. Nice one. So I guess just wanting to know the kind of the structure of how employment works. Are you on a 40-hour working week, or what is it really, I guess, there, Toby?
Well, yeah, it's kind of the nature of the industry. If you're in it to get rich, we're doing the wrong thing. If you're doing it because you love skiing and snowboarding, then you're doing the right thing. So we're at the mercy of Mother Nature. And with climate change and that sort of stuff, things are becoming more and more unpredictable. So, on a good week through our school holidays, through our busy period, you may well do, 30 hours a week, 6 hours a day. That's sort of the maximum you can teach, 5 days a week. Outside of that, when business levels and if conditions deteriorate or get worse, you won't be working as much. Everyone that starts in the ski industry, in the snow sports industry, most schools work on a priority system. So you've got to figure out some way of, rewarding the loyal employees that are most experienced and most qualified, to essentially getting the work first. We want to put our best staff out in front of our customers. And, that means if you're new to the system, or new to the industry, new to the resort, generally you'll start at the bottom. Okay. We do realise, obviously, in Queenstown and Mount Hutt that everyone's got to put food on the table and pay the bills. So we do try and share the work as much as we can. But to be honest, your first couple of seasons will be potentially a little bit frugal, but once you get into it and you start to build yourself your own client base, into the same resort, etc., you can start to make a decent living out of it.
Yep.
So in a nutshell, nothing's guaranteed, and it varies week by week, day by day.
Yeah. Obviously, various factors come into play, and I guess one thing, from the perspective of the school, is obviously they're receiving inquiries and bookings from various people coming in to do lessons, and what your role really as an instructor is obviously to deliver an exceptional experience to the guests. But in addition to sort of being allocated work, I always think it's a great idea to go out there with, not the expectation that the work's always just going to come and be presented to you. It's about, trying to generate some repeat business. So getting guests to come back for afternoon lessons, for example. Just really sort of, when you finish a lesson, you should always summarize it well and talk about sort of areas that you could maybe go on the next lesson, some future goals, and obviously that helps line your pocket because you're getting more work as a result. It's good for the school in terms of its reputation, your reputation, and the school will also earn more money and you will as well. So it's obviously a benefit to everyone. That's the intention. And I guess just to clarify very quickly here as well, Larry, in terms of the hourly rate, that is made up differently by each resort, and it is very much dependent on the level of certification. There's often quite a good jump from something like a level 1 qualified instructor to a level 2 qualified instructor. That does make an effect financially. You earn more. Quite specific. So with our internships, we will provide that accommodation for the first month, obviously. So that's like you've indicated. For the likes of New Zealand, we will have an accommodation option arranged. So we've made communication with accommodation providers. I guess a big thing, and probably Toby can certainly confirm from his perspective, is the likes of somewhere like Queenstown or generally any kind of ski resort town. What happens is quite a big spike in the people coming. The amount of people looking for jobs, the amount of people looking for accommodation. So things do sort of get a bit tricky. They get a bit harder. So you do have to be, I guess, ultimately confirming options as soon as you're able to. So we have the likes in Queenstown, we've got an option that people can stay on with. So we provide the first month and then people can choose to stay on there, or they can go and choose to stay somewhere else. And also with Methven as well. So that's pretty typical. Some resorts, it might be that you've got staff housing, so it might be in a different country like Japan or Canada. So hopefully that helps to explain the questions. The different kind of accommodation grades, it can vary quite a bit depending on location. It could be anything from a shared accommodation space where you're with others sharing the same room, to it could be an apartment sort of style, like sort of Revelstoke or Cyprus in Canada. It's a bit more sort of set up like that. So hopefully that helps. I might just let Toby, if you've got anything to say or any particular questions you want to ask the group or anything like that.
No, I think you covered it. The accommodation, typically in Queenstown can be quite hard to find, especially for you guys looking for accommodation sort of mid-season, I suppose. So it pays to get onto it as early as you can, and it's really important to us that you do secure accommodation when you're working for us. We don't want you to work without sleeping, stressed, not performing at your best. So, we do care, and we try and help where we can, but it's really important that you guys get onto it, basically.
Cool. Fantastic. I guess maybe just to sort of wrap things up here, Toby, I'll let you sort of finish up here, and I'll go through some other questions with some of the others. I guess, would you have any kind of I guess, final words of wisdom, people wanting to join this industry, or any nuggets, I guess, you might be able to share?
Yeah, I guess, the people that I've seen come through the ranks and been successful, and over the last few years, come into this industry, work really hard, learn your stuff. As I said, skiing and riding is great. That helps you get through exams and helps you to demonstrate to our guests what we want to see, or what you want to teach them, or get them to do, which is really important. But being, knowing your stuff, being an expert on the theory is super, super important as well. And from there, if you've got a real passion, a real hunger, a real desire to join this industry and be in it for a while and be successful, make sure that you're showing people that, and then the rest will come quite naturally. If you love what you're doing, it's not a real job, right? It's basically your job's better than most people's holidays. So work really hard, know your stuff, and just show you my words of wisdom.
Nice one. Thanks so much there, Toby. It's great to have you on board, and also assistance with asking those questions today. So big thank you, and I'll obviously let you get back to the rest of your day. You're quite a busy man, and we'll catch you on the slopes.
Cool. Thanks, guys. See you later. Good luck.
Awesome.